going live on Facebook. So if you go, let me see, I think I can share it to your timeline as well.
Sure.
Perfect. I'm sharing it to share on friend's profile. You can do that. Post. I can share on Raghu's.
Are you able to hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you very clearly. Great. It's streaming on live on Facebook. See if you can see it.
Okay. Should I go to yours or mine?
I have put on your profile as well. I've shared it on your profile.
Refresh.
I don't know where Shireen is. I have to call her. Join in. Okay, join in. I have shut my video, but it's still showing.
Acha.
I think so, isn't it?
I can see you.
No. On the live feed, can you see it on Facebook?
Okay, I put my phone on the side to be called it.
अच्छा. Just check when आपके profile पे I've shared this feed on your profile.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you can, right? उसमें मेरा video है. Is my video there? I don't know. Shouldn't be seen.
It is only showing your profile. That's it. अभी कुछ और नहीं आ रहा है इसमें.
No. Is it just showing that slide, or is your video is also coming? That's fine.
Okay, can you hear me now, Anju?
Yes, Shireen. Shireen, Vicky is here. Hi, Jotan. Welcome, Jotan.
I cannot see anybody.
Hi, Anjum. Welcome.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Hi, Kamal. How are you?
Hi.
Congratulations.
Nice to see you. Thank you.
Okay. Go headphones. It's
Hi,
fine.
Shireen.
All right. Hi. Hey, Kamal.
Are you able to see my backdrop? I cannot see that. Are you like
yes,
you can see my background? Yes. Okay.
Yes, we can.
Because I see everybody, but I don't see my backdrop. So all good?
Okay. Anjum, ये ठीक है हमारा distance?
Yes.
I'm going to try using a. Oh.
Hi, Arvind. Welcome. You remembered?
Okay. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
I can hear. Oh, this is perfect. So I've got these speakers. They might be a little better.
Right.
Okay. Is my voice coming clearly?
Yes.
It's too much of sun.
Okay. Let me. अंजुम ये angle ठीक है?
I can't see it.
I cannot see my own video, so
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can see your angle.
Maybe यहाँ की light
I am actually seeing it in the live feed on Facebook.
off कर दो. हाँ, अभी ठीक है.
Welcome, Faisal.
Hi, Faisal.
hi Faisal. Would I be able to see the participants?
Yes, you would be. If you have the video on.
Video on.
If they have a video on.
If they have the video.
Video on. Okay.
Hi, Sunil. Welcome, Sunil.
Jotin has.
Hi.
Okay.
Hi, good morning.
Good
Hi,
morning.
Hi.
Great, people are just coming in. We'll just give another 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yes.
Hi, Sunil. Looking dapper.
Hi, good morning, everybody.
Morning. Thank you for joining, everyone.
Well, thanks for having us, and thank you, Anjum, for sending me.
Yes, Sanjay Shireen and Raghu.
Raghu, he'll join. He is doing something. He said he'll be with us in another 20 minutes. That's fine.
Okay.
He's in the middle of, he called me to say that he'll be like 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
But it's okay. We in any case, his part is going to be a little late.
A little later. Yeah, he'll introduce us. Okay.
How's everybody this morning?
All good.
Beautiful
Excited.
morning, bright
Happy.
sunny day.
It's a nice morning. It's a bright day here. I don't know.
Are you all?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Friday
both
outside.
you in
Yeah.
Toronto.
I put
Yeah.
my tulsi plant in the sun. I don't know if it's going to survive now. I think it's a goner now.
I have turned off the heat also. It's still so warm because of the heat of the sun.
Yeah, lucky. That's very nice.
We
Yeah,
get beautiful sunrise
I
here.
can see that. I can see the full sun.
Our living room is like in the morning, it's like full of sunlight. My favorite place to sit and enjoy coffee.
I know. We should have more meetings like that. We can all
Yes.
enjoy a coffee.
You can all enjoy a coffee, yes.
What all about my tea?
Oh, you got your tea. Oh.
Right behind our balcony is a big pond and there's a walkway. So it's a wetland they have created. We have a lot of geese in there. So some of my children's stories are based on my view from this window, this balcony.
Nice.
You find inspiration everywhere.
And
You
they're like,
really find
"This
inspiration.
here with the sunrise and geese flying and everything. It's so much, right?"
It's here.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you can see it. I don't know if you can.
Yeah. And I have the
I haven't
other
come.
version.
I'm not.
I have the Kindle version right here. Let me pull up my notes. I made notes in it for the first time. I'm using the notes facility of Kindle, and
Great.
highlighting and all that. Yeah, it's very neat.
So should we wait another few minutes or should we start?
I think we
What do you-
can start. We can start because we have a good audience and they are ready to begin. Looking forward to meeting Kamal and listening to her. So let's begin.
Okay, it's 11:06, so I think 5 minutes is great. Good enough.
Mhm.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all here. And good morning to you all. And good evening or good afternoon, good evening, wherever from
Everybody's-
around the planet. And well, this is a very nice, I have to say, it's a good thing for the COVID to happen. Not a good thing, but thanks to it that we've gotten doing these Zoom sessions. And in that way we can connect from any part of the world and see. And it's a new world, and we're using most of the technology here. And so we've got together for Kamal's lovely book, The Miracle, and it's a story. It's like a journey. I don't know. I think I'll let you guys decide what it is. And
आवाज नहीं आ रही
yeah. So and today's session is going to be done by Shireen. Today's session is going to be handled by Shireen, and there'll be a conversation between Shireen and Kamal, and then we'll move on to a book read from Raghu, and then we'll open the session to questions if anybody has. So Shireen, you're on. You can unmute yourself.
Thank you, Anjum. That was wonderful. So good morning to everyone. Hi, everyone. Greetings. So I'm delighted to be presenting Kamal and her book to you.
Thank you.
And when at first we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, and I immediately bought the book because I'm a reader, and I simply fell in love with it. So
Thank
when
you.
I was talking to Anjum, and she said, well, why don't you present it? I said, yes. So I earned my right to present the book by reading it. Really. So let me tell you a little bit about Kamal. She is an Indian-born Canadian writer. She's based out in Toronto. And this is her first book. And she's a writer. She's written short stories, poems, plays, short plays, several. So we really look forward to seeing what Kamal has next planned for us. So when I asked her, I had a little talk with her last night. She said, okay,
Yeah.
so when did you start writing first? So she said, well, my journey began when I was a little girl, and I would write letters to my father, who was in the army, and he was posted far away. And she would describe to him her life, her school, her little anecdotes. And I believe she was very young at that time. How old were you, Kamal?
We were
Maybe
in school, like grade 2, 3.
great. Oh my goodness. Okay, because that makes sense. So, and he would read the letters, and then he would correct the grammar, the spelling, and send them back to her.
Yes.
So in a way, he was her first promoter, critic, reviewer, say it all. I think that's very
And then
lovely. It's
if anybody
delightful.
was those blue color inland letters that were pasted, you would write on them and post them. So those are
Yes,
inland letters.
those were inland letters. And I'm sure all of you who grew up in India kind of know what we're talking about, those inland letters. So in her own words, I'm going to read to you a little bit about what her journey has been and what she has tried to tell us about in the miracle. Kamal has traveled all throughout the world, throughout extensively in India, and a lot of her stories and characters are based in the varied land of India.
Yes.
So there's a little blurb. I believe this was written by you. The miracle is an expression of our journey through different phases of life. Like a caravan, life is ever moving. Sometimes our ride is with others, and sometimes it feels like a lonely journey. It is quite a wonder how people, events, and experiences keep on adding and subtracting by choice or by chance, impacting our life every minute, every day, all our life. It was beautifully written. So, this is the journey which Kamal invites us to in this book. And I have begun my journey, and let's now introduce Kamal to you so that we can begin our journey with her.
Thank you.
So, Kamal, let me just ask you just a few questions to introduce you to the audience. Now, we talk about a journey and you've traveled all over. So, what experiences, when you meet people, what do you try and see in them?
The first thing is that it is all very spontaneous. It's never been an effort to discover something in somebody. I think mind is a beautiful computer that accumulates, collects all that we can from life. And every time I have met somebody, I have always felt that, like I was talking to you yesterday, that sometimes we are just crossing paths with people in our daily life. It could be a 1 minute meeting. It could be that something fell and we picked up for that person. The connections are made. There is, in that little moment, there is an experience. Somebody might just smile and say thank you, and somebody might just not say anything and walk away. That little, like, experiences are everywhere. They touch our heart. They break our heart. They make us alive. They kill us. They do everything.
Right.
And it all comes through people. There is nothing that we do on our own. So I'm a person of sight, smell, vision, everything. So I learned a lot from people's lives. I met hundreds and hundreds of people. I was a teacher for 11 years. So many students passed through my hands, and each of them left something with me. And in this book, I was trying to get everything together, but it would be too much. Then we had to delete those portions out. But I would be, I think, able to do justice with all those experiences in the time to come. But life is full of people experiences.
Okay, so people kind of enrich your life.
Absolutely.
It could be in any way, like it being you stronger or bring you joy or whatever. Okay, so another question which I always want to ask the writers is, if you were to travel, let's say, what would be your place to travel and write?
I have
About
traveled
it
a
or
lot
in
of.
the surroundings. What would be your favorite place?
I'm very much with nature. My senses get activated much more, especially in the hills or south part of India. So those kind of surroundings, anything to do with nature activates my writing. India has been a major part of my life. I would love to travel more of it because I haven't still discovered it fully. So India, maybe Bali, Cambodia. So Eastern India is my fascination all the time. Eastern world is my fascination. I want to travel that part where everything is uninhibited. Here in these parts of the countries, I find that everything is inhibited, and we don't have all the like we don't have reach. But I would still want to spend more time in eastern part of the world. And if I have
Okay.
one place I can choose, that would be definitely India.
Okay. Yeah.
Still,
It's got so many experiences. Yeah. People, everything. It's so different as well. Yeah, I agree with that.
yes.
So, do you like to read? Now, you're a writer. What about your reading habits? What kind of books do you like to read? Do you have a particular genre you like, or it's varied? How do you go about selecting what you like to read?
So I'm little weird in little reading ways. I go with mostly 2 to 3 books at one time. I don't know why I have this way of life, but I usually read something that is spiritual. At the same time, I'm maybe reading a cookbook or something that teaches me something. And then I would read a fiction. So many a times I have 3 books running at the same time. And I
Simultaneously. Wow.
why I'm like that, but I can't be doing same reading or same kind of work at the in same time space. So I go with like at nighttime and before going to sleep. Usually I'm doing my fiction reading, and that takes me to my dream world.
What a good tip. What a good tip, because you are actually using all parts of your brains, right? You're thinking, you are having fiction, nonfiction. Very good. Yeah, that's something to learn from that as well. Yeah, I'm going to try
It all
that.
depends on moods of the day also, right? So we are not
Right.
always wanting to
Right.
be romantic. We are not always wanting to be spiritual, and it all changes. So with me, that's how I have lived. So if I wake up and I'm into meditation, something, maybe I'll pick up something and I would read right away after that. Or sometimes I won't even touch it, and then I would skip to something else. But it is simultaneously usually 2 to 3 books running at the same time.
Ah. So is there a, so that kind of answers my question. There is no genre you prefer. You prefer all genres. Okay.
Whatever the
Yeah,
mood.
very. And what about writers? Is there a particular writer you like to follow, like you kind of look forward to their works, or
I I have a book which is called The Game of Life and How to Play It. It was written in 1800s. Very beautiful book, changed my thinking, my lifestyle,
that?
everything for me.
Mhm.
There is nobody who's like, it was in 1800s, so I don't have that right now. But if I had to, I would want to read more works of that person. A lot of it is derived from Bible. So I have seen that like I'm not following any specific author at this hour, but yes, that led me to explore more writers. Then from that book, somehow I went to Alchemist. Has been around forever, but there are connections between all the books that have come in, and I have seen that the book I am meant to read, I believe in the magic of the universe a lot. So those books come to me that I need to read. There is a book from Esther Hicks. I don't know if you have heard name of Esther Hicks, Abraham talks and all. So they have Esther Hicks has this. It says little supernatural stuff and all this. But the
Mhm.
stories are very spiritual. They show you path of life. So I have been reading CDs of that, which is like a teenager's book, but it tells you so much where you can follow your heart, connect your heart. In the same genre as Alchemist and a Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, those kind of,
Okay.
yes. But
Yeah.
I'm not
Okay.
necessarily following one.
One writer or genre. So tell us about what your writing process is like. When you start to write, uh, do you continuously, it keeps coming to you, or do you take a break, or uh, do you also write simultaneously, like your reading habits, is your writing also, like you work on different projects at one time? So just talk to us about your
That's
writing process.
yes, writing is simultaneous as well. Poetry, especially Hindi poetry, is very close to my heart. When I was in college, we had to choose a subject in any language. Language was mandatory. So I got admission in Urdu, and I couldn't read the script at all. But then something changed and they said, no, you can't have this subject. And they put me into Marathi. But our library was quite enriched. So I would go there and read a lot of Faisal, Ghalib, and other. So I started writing at that time quite a bit. And that continued. That is still in my writing when I do a lot of poetry writing. I did a lot of short plays and they were all instant. There was no, like, because I was a teacher and at that time we used to do a lot of plays for school. And during that time, I wrote a lot of plays. I haven't written any play lately, but I would just write it and we would enact it. And then like I would direct it and do everything that time. But plays have not come back now. Like I have not written plays, but poetry, children's books. I wrote a lot of children's stories, especially when talking to kids. I don't know, like, a story just pops in my head and I start writing. Like I just sit and write. So
Have you
children's stories.
published any? Have you
No,
published?
I haven't.
Not yet. Okay.
Not
So
yet.
look
Because
forward.
my first was to publish a novel that would be very close to my heart. So I have waited for this all my life. And yeah, even now I write poems. This book, when I wrote this, it happened in 2 months. I started on December 19th and 14th of February, the book was done. And it was a non-stop writing for days and days. I would just get up and quickly fix something to eat. I had my full-time job also in between, go for my work, come back. And then as soon as I would get home, get to my computer and just write. No planning, nothing. And the book happened.
Mhm. So you did not, my next question would be like, you did not even have a writer's block. Once it comes to you, it comes. You kind of get inspiration from everything around you and everyone around you as well. So what about your within your family? Who has encouraged you or supported you in your journey? Let's talk about a little bit of your background.
So everybody, you've already talked about my dad. My dad himself writes quite well. And I grew up into that kind of environment. He was very much about learning language. So I wrote quite a bit. And then family has always been supporting in whatever I did. But my husband has been a key person behind my book. He has pushed me literally write, like, because he always felt that I have the caliber, I can do it. And then I needed some discipline, and discipline was something I did not have. But he has edited the book and he was a real taskmaster with me when I was doing this. He wouldn't spare me for watching TV or this and that. He would be like, nope, you got to do this. And then when I sat down finally to write, I finished it. That was the only thing I had to do. Was I needed a teacher on top of me with the stick. So he really worked behind this.
So was editing a very difficult part? You felt that you felt strongly about certain parts, because it's very hard to see as a writer what you should put in the book and what as an editor does.
Yes, it was. First thing was the language of the book. The book that we initially wrote, the language had all like proper vocabulary, which I know and I could write. And then while we were editing it, one day I told my husband, I said, I think the book should be very simple for anybody from grade 5 or 6, also a person for a grade of 5 or 6 also to read, from anybody who has not gone to proper school or who has not experienced like vocabulary in that hi-fi manner. And I wanted it to reach to people, because I suddenly thought of when I was a teacher, I'm going back to that. I used to teach English, and I saw that schools in English, all of them do not have a very high standard of English. So there's an average English where people can communicate and people understand. So the task of bringing the book from that level to this level, for making it understandable for everybody, for everybody to understand and read and absorb it, was the most difficult task. So we had to totally change the dialogues. Then I had, like, that took 1 year, and to take out some parts because it was too much. And all writers, I think, when they write a lot. So a lot of parts had to be taken out. We had to delete some portions. Love story was the most difficult. There's love story in it. We all have love stories somewhere or the other. We have all experienced that part. So that was one of the most difficult ones to condense, actually. We did have to, I had to do it 7-8 times to condense that love story.
Condense the love, yeah.
Yes.
So that brings me to my next question, was about the language. I wanted to tell the readers, Kamal has a master's in literature, English literature, and she's been a teacher. So she has a command of several languages, not just English, and she's able to bring the essence of the feeling in whichever way she chooses, whether it be in a very we're using big words or defining it, or using it simply as what love is. It can be simply defined as well. So that was really lovely. So that's my question is, what part do you think understanding the language or knowing the language so well played on your ability to bring across all these feelings, your journey, which you've described?
I think any language helps us to know a certain area or people better. So if, like, I have seen when I was in northern part of India, like up north, that language really helped. I was in Sinar for some time, and then learning a little bit of Gurwali language and seeing people how they talk, the accents that they use, and going to south towards Uti, the way they spoke. You will see in the book, I have tried to use those expressions, what I saw, the way people used the language. I've tried to use them in dialogues, because every time I would sit, I try to go back in memories and see how people talked in their language. How did they express a simple word? Even hello is not hello everywhere. It's different. So different languages have different ways. In one of the characters says Sahib ji, because I saw a person speaking like that in language, trying to talk and communicate using word Sahib ji. So that is in the book. So language really, really helps us to understand, I think, the inner depths of lives of people in a major way.
Yes, that's very nice, lovely. So this was a great conversation, and we'll have another Q&A at so let's go to the book reading first. Then we'll have another Q&A, which I will ask Kamal questions about the book. And I also ask the viewers if they have questions about, if they have read the book, if they have questions about the book, or they want to pose some questions to Kamal, to please type in the chat. So Anjum gets to know, and then she will invite you to ask the questions. So let's go to the book reading now. So for the book reading, we have a reading is by a voice artist and actor, RAGHURAM SITARAM. He is an actor, singer, and a voiceover artist. And his journey to limelight began many years ago as a child artist in the role of Mani in the very famous series called Malgudi Days. And Raghu, see what I found. I actually found Malgudi Days. I have Swami and Friends. Grew up again in India, have seen these TV series. So over to you, Raghu.
Thank you so much, Shireen. Thank you so much. Well, funnily or interestingly, Swami and Friends is right now available on Amazon Prime.
Oh
Okay.
my goodness.
Yeah, so if you tune in, you have the
Okay.
entire season. Yeah,
Wow.
and
Good
I
to
was
know.
what, 11 years old when I did that, a
Yeah,
long time back.
yeah.
Sounds like a different lifetime. Well, great. Thank you so much for the very warm welcome, Shireen. So excited to see such a wonderful, group gathered. Hey, Kamal, Anjum, nice to see you again.
Hi.
Yeah, I would be happy to read out a few lines or something from one of the introductory chapters. Kamal.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, so do I start or did we have anything else?
No, you start. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. So just give me one quick second. Okay, I'll start now. We are all in a caravan, each one of our own. That morning felt noticeably distinct. A deep orange hue of the rising sun had spread its giant wings, enveloping the entire sky. The color canopy created by nature in the backdrop was enchanting and soothing. With some merging ash gray clouds, it felt as if a sage, garbed in a large orange robe, had woken up after a long season of meditation and was ready to walk down the abundant mountains of the Himalayas. Yes, it was a different morning, perhaps forecasting a significant change somewhere. Under this vast expanse of colorful sheets of the sky sat a man, motionless, on the precipice of a big, rugged rock. The strong wind of the afternoon heat did not seem to match with the storm of questions in his head. His long, peppery beard vigorously shook with the gusts of the wind, and his unkempt hair collected more dust than ever before. Where do I belong? The people I was born to, or the people I grew up with? Those who stayed with me, or those who disappeared in the haze of life? The streets and cities I traveled, or the places I visit in my dreams? The work of everyday life, or the solitary self inside me? Am I a part of the group, or am I by myself? Do I belong to the one up there, or am I whole of the universe? Where do I belong? This rattle of questions was not there before, at least not before that day. In one moment, this man felt the wisdom of a saint flowing through him, and in the very next moment, he questioned his existence. Nothing to be, nowhere to go. All is as is. Follow this, Amor. All is as is. All is as is. Echoed a voice around his ears continuously. And the sound grew louder and louder. All is as is. Follow your heart. Come home. Wake up, Amor. Wake up. Oh, oh, oh. Amor sat up in his bed, his hands covering his ears, gasping for breath. Beads of sweat trickled down from his forehead to his eyebrows. Ah, this dream felt so real and absurd, he whispered in disbelief at the contents of the dream. Was that me in the dream? He tried to decode the dream. Kuhu, kuhu, kuhu. Amor's thought stream was interrupted before he could go any further by the alarm clock that had started singing a tune of songbirds and lapping waters of a river. He got down from his bed slowly, still a little dazed, and opened the curtains of the bedroom. To his surprise, the sky looked the same as the one he had seen in the dream, deep orange. This is so strange, Amor murmured to himself, his mind going back to the dream. But then he brushed off all thoughts as he thought of Ali, his wife, who had gone on a vacation with their two children. Perhaps a part of his heart missed her. She always sleeps like a baby. Looking at her bedside, he thought. He couldn't remember the last time he had slept soundly. Ali had tried to convince him to join them in the vacation, but he couldn't take a break from his ever busy work life. Krr, krr, krr. The loud buzzer of another alarm clock startled Amor. He had never liked the sound of this old style clock, but it was a good idea to have a second alarm clock buzzing just in case the first one wouldn't wake him up. Amor liked to follow a set routine, and, like him, his grip on it was tenacious. He preferred to live a very regimented and pre-carved life. He wore the same style of business suits to work. He ate his breakfast with same dedication at a fixed time. His route to his office was always the same. Same highway, same stops, almost the exact timing. In fact, he cloned his life each day. On that fateful day, the day of the dream, Amor turned to the news channel before heading to the office, as per his morning routine. To his mental peak, the traffic update mentioned that the highway he routinely traveled on was shut down due to a major accident. Amor's head and stomach tightened immediately. He always resisted unusual alterations in his daily routine. Ah, I hate this. He frowned at the thought of another different beginning of the day. That dream, and now this? Amor took a heavy breath, shaking his head in disagreement with the little changes in the morning. He headed to his washroom to get ready for his office. Soon he was all set to go. He walked down the peacock blue carpeted stairs from his second floor master bedroom. Quickly, he walked past his grand living room. Over the years, Amor had amassed a significant fortune and bought whatever he took a fancy to. The living room was tastefully decorated with the most beautiful collectibles from all over the world. Still, over time, he had forgotten to pause and look at those treasures that he had once felt so passionate about. These possessions were now nothing more than a collage of displays. Lately, despite having acquired everything that he wanted, a feeling of emptiness, a kind of void lingered in Amor's heart. As the clock struck 9, he stepped out of his house, clutching his leather briefcase, thinking of an alternate route to the office. From immaculately styled hair to the sharp tips of his shiny shoes, Amor was a statement of luxury, pride, and discipline. All this opulence, however, had come at a steep price and could barely compensate for the lost peace of mind. Work, work, and more work. That had become the mantra of his life. Amor opened the door of his red car that he had recently bought and plummeted into the driver's seat. Driving his own car, this was the second change in his routine in a single day. His chauffeur had called in sick. What a day! It sucks, Amor grumbled. The corners of his mouth curved down automatically to sync with the unhappiness of his mind. He started the car, and instantly the GPS swung up in front of the dashboard. Amor entered the destination address, all set to go, drive safely. The automated female voice started giving instructions on the new route. His head felt more relaxed with the expectation of regaining control of the day. Amor pressed the accelerator, and within seconds, the car engine revved up. Soon, he was on the highway, weaving in and out of traffic in the blink of an eye. He had not driven this car much. Mostly, his chauffeur drove it. But he had not lost his touch. As his car picked up speed, so did his thoughts. Now everything will happen as planned. At 11, the investors will sit for the meeting, and I will settle finances for forever. Amor's ever-active mind had already started etching out the plan of the day of his well-planned life. Lost in the intricate net of his thoughts, he did not realize that he had taken a wrong exit on the highway. Wrong exit, too late, a voice sprang from Amor's head. What the hell? Amor's jaw tightened. Veins in his temples started bulging as he grimaced, beating himself up for this lapse in attention. He was already frustrated with the happenings of the day. Now, this wrong exit threw him out of gear completely. In reality, it was not a wrong exit. It was a different exit. Amor had no idea that this one single different exit will be an entrance to an entirely new life. Experience. Ruffled, Amor got engrossed in the multiple voices in his head, all vying for immediate attention. He did not realize that the road ahead was wet from the rains of the previous night. While all the mental conversation was in full bloom, the car careened with a sudden buzzing noise. Amor's head started pounding. His stomach turned into a knot. Shocked at this another unusual happening, he tried to steer the car to safety but lost control. The vehicle veered off the curb of the slick road and skidded down the steep slope, tumbling down with sparks flying off the red rims of the tires. Boom, boom, bang! The car came to an abrupt halt with a big jolt. Amor's body shook completely. His throat dried up and his lips became parched, his perfectly gelled hair in a mess as he hit his head on the side of the window. The air inside the car became suffocating. He could hardly breathe. There was total darkness for a few seconds, and his sight became blurred. His eyes started closing despite his best effort to be awake. The last thing he saw was gray smoke blowing from the front of the car. Amor became unconscious. All is well.
Thank you, Raghu. That was beautiful.
That was beautiful. That was very well read. Yeah, I got
I
lost.
think
Maybe
you
we
should
should
audio
have an
book with you.
audiobook. Exactly what I was saying. So
beautiful.
Thank you so much.
yeah, we need to work on that, Kamal,
I so much
because
just
these
listening.
days I'm totally into audiobooks. New.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
In fact, I love listening to a lot of audiobooks on Audible.
Uh-huh.
You should consider that.
Yeah.
Oh.
So now that Raghu has started us on the journey. So Raghu, that was chapter 1 and chapter 2, right?
I think so.
Or
Yeah,
just one?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you if the viewers haven't read the book, so see, we have 2 chapters already read for you. The rest of the journey, you will have to start and complete by yourself. Thank you, Raghu. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
My
much.
pleasure. Thank you for inviting me on.
So now I would like to invite the viewers, if they would have any questions to Raghu, sorry, not to Raghu, Kamal. If they would have any
Raghu
questions to
also.
Kamal about the book or about her writing process, because I have a whole list of questions, Kamal. Here is my list on the
Oh.
book, and I'm raring to start with the. We'll try and have this conversation without revealing maybe too much about the story, which
Story,
is
yeah.
which is possible. I think everyone will take something different from the story when
That's
they read it.
We have a question from Sunil.
Oh yes, okay. Let's start with Sunil's question then.
Sunil, can you unmute and you can ask your question?
Thank you. And thank you, Raghu, and thank you, Kamal. It's a real privilege to be able to be part of this conversation. So for context, I'm not a writer. I'm an academic, so I've done some academic writing. But I would love to get your perspective on being an author who speaks multiple languages and who writes for an audience that speaks multiple languages. I mean, I feel language limits our thought in some way. And I've always struggled with this idea that, how do you express a feeling, or anyway, I think you know what I'm asking. This, and why are there no multilingual, or very few multilingual books? And I mean, is that, I've always wondered that.
Yes, that is one of my concerns, I would say, that I've always wanted the book to be in like different languages. I've always thought about it, that why don't we have books or readership? I'm sure there's readership, but we don't have many books available in different languages. That is very interesting also, and it kind of bothers me too. You won't believe it. I wanted to write to Prime Minister of India. I did send an email, and I'm waiting to hear from them that, for example, in India, Hindi is one, like, the leading language, right? But if you have to do something like in Hindi, you will be running around looking for publishers, and nobody's like much interested in publishing like, or translating books there as much as like we would see here, the readership in this part of the world in English. If you print something, definitely somebody is going to pick up the book and read. But if you try to do it in different languages, getting the book published in that language is the biggest problem. And then reaching, like, getting it to people is another one. I have faced that along with you. And once I have the answer, I'm definitely going to share with you if I find a solution to that.
Great, thank you. No, that's fantastic.
Mhm.
Because I always find, so I grew up, like I think all of us, speaking multiple languages. So, I'm Punjabi, so I grew up speaking English, Hindi, and Punjabi. And I find it sometimes difficult to speak to someone just with one language when
Yes.
I've got, Hawa mein tohelti hui ja rahi thi. How do you say that in English? Right?
Yes. Yeah. You have that expression completely. Yes, absolutely.
The feeling, it's not really
Not-
so.
Yeah.
That's great, though. Thank you. I'm actually inspired to. Anjum has given us the link to your book, so I'm inspired to order it and actually read something. So
Thank you so much.
thank you. And thank you for
And
inviting me, Anjum.
one of my friends, she's, I think, here on the chat at the moment. She actually said to me that I would want my mom to read this book, but she said, is it possible to get it in Hindi or Punjabi? And it's on my head. Even if I do one book handwritten, I'm going to do it. That is, since then I have it on my mind that if there is even one reader, and I have to send. I've been thinking if maybe I could write portions of it, translate, and then start sending it to her. Like even that one inquiry or one interest has shown me that yes, there is somebody who wants to read the book, or somebody who wants her mother to read. It's very important for me that in another language somebody is waiting for this book to be read. So something I'm going to like really do something about that for sure. At least even if I can do one book and translate and send it to one reader, that would matter a lot.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to actually have a book that's maybe English and Hindi,
Yes.
and then you'd have to translate it in the opposite way. Actually, you wouldn't, because anyone who can read it can read both languages.
Yes.
But that would be a really interesting experiment, I think.
That book, The Alchemist, has been translated in so many languages, and that has inspired me that yes, even this can be done.
Yeah. You definitely have one customer. I will definitely and read it to my kids. So
The reader, correct. So that's what I think is lacking in the publishing world in India is the translations. Because
Translation.
like us, like there are so many books being written in different languages like Telugu, Tamil, and we don't have access to it because there's not good translators. So that is, yeah, that was good. That was absolutely spot on, Kamal, because other languages like Paulo Coelho writes in Portuguese, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah, he
His
writes in
books have been
Portuguese.
translated into all possible languages.
Absolutely.
So that is one avenue which hasn't been explored in India. We will get to it.
I'll keep writing to Prime Minister.
Please do, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
and they should be. The reason behind it, the publishing house needs to
Yes.
encourage writers or
Yes.
translators. Have scholarship or give some kind of encouragement, to employ them to have that thing. So that's
Absolutely.
maybe
There are no
just
promotions for Hindi books. Very hard to find something like that.
correct. Absolutely. So coming to your book, another thing, what genre would you put your book, The Miracle, in? Will it be fiction, spiritual, nonfiction?
It is all.
It is all, huh?
Yes.
Kind of like you're reading. Okay, that's a good one. Now, one very particular thought came to me while I was reading your book is the names you have chosen for the characters.
Yes.
They are very specific. Like the main character is Amor, then there is Gopi, and so do the names have a significance, or do they have a meaning, or where did you get the names from?
Every time I wanted, like I wrote about a character, I Googled to find out if somebody is like this, what names would go with it. Like the name of the main character, the little boy Sensei in the book,
Sensei,
means teacher. So he is a teacher in the book. And I don't want to like disclose much. Amor means wise. He's not ignorant. So the name means somebody who is wise, not ignorant. So he listens to everything. He is wise. He is running a big company, everything. He manages his life. But he wants to rediscover himself. So he is not ignorant of his own needs and desires and what he wants to do. So he is capable to receive and then absorb it in his life. So that character, what I wanted was, and the name popped up was Amor. So all the names have, according to the story, they have meanings. I would leave this for everybody to discover what the other names mean. It is like our name. All of our names have some meaning. We are not here by like, we don't have any coincidental names. Oh, yes, we randomly picked up something. No, all names have some meaning.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't want to reveal too much about the names, but well, since you've mentioned Sensei, let's just talk about the Sensei. Why did you choose Sensei to be the age that he is? Is there a special reason why you chose the Sensei to be a young boy?
Yeah. I always feel
What
that
was it?
there's
Mhm.
a little kid in us, always. And as we grow, we try to shush that kid inside somewhere in us. Oh, we should behave like this, we should behave like this. And we kind of feel that kids have no knowledge of life. Like they are learning, but there's so much we can learn from them. And because we were there, now we have, like, we are here. When we grew up, we didn't just grow up as adults, we grew up from their childhood and then we grew up. So that kid in us has to be alive to keep life going. The day we stop enjoying life, the day we stop seeking, the day we lose our curiosity, we have lost that kid in us. So I always want my personal life also, I always want that kid to be alive. I am always like a curious George and always wanting to know, discover, do new things, be disinterested pretty soon with something and then start something new. So that kid actually is like our inner child in us, that is our base, that never dies. We lose our kid somewhere in, like, in trying to be mature, acting mature, being mature, doing things the adult way. But the day we go back to that kid in us, we are happier, because that little child in us is always happy. It doesn't need any specific reason. Can
Very
be happy with the
true.
candy, can be happy with the
Very
a
true.
little slime dough, can be happy with anything. It is us who are adults who have so much to be not happy about.
Yeah, like we grow up and we lose our curiosity and we
Trust-
become
yeah.
like jaded. Yeah, it was good. Very good. It's a good way. So another thing, I felt that the landscape in your book, it changes throughout. Like
Yes.
when you start off with the crash, and when he meets Sensei, that's a different, in my mind, I'm visualizing something. And then they walk towards another area and then the landscape changes. So was that deliberate? Or where did you get these landscapes from?
These are all from my travels.
So these are
Uh,
actual places. Uh-huh.
these are actual places, yes. And all
Okay.
these that I have seen, and some I have imagined, that how this place would connect to people. That is how I have selected them in the book. And I have seen that when I traveled, everything changed for me also. I remember from Sanar, we went for exchange program to Uti, and the food was totally different. How they served us was so different in that exchange program. And one of my colleagues, she's from Sri Lanka, and she has been in that part. So one time she came to our lunchroom and she said, because I taste everybody's food, I'm so much about taste, smell, everything. So I'm very curious. I go to people and ask them sometimes, oh, what are you eating? Like, that looks very beautiful. That smells so good. So I don't hesitate in like talking to people about whatever I see and whatever I want to eat, taste, or see. So she was like, I have this called sambal. So I'm like, okay, all right. So can I taste it? She said, I'm not sure if you like it. I said, go on, let's just eat it. And she sprinkled that on top of rice. And you will see that is in the book too. So some people who read the book, they asked me, what is sambal? I said, okay, this is what it is. So this is a mixture, a blend of spices so experiences from travels, experiences from meeting people, these landscapes, wherever I traveled. We went for many trips. Even when I was a teacher, I went to higher hills. I saw those prayer flags and all those things. So they all came together in this book. I wanted to bring the beautiful diversity of India and how that actually, it is so beautiful, so amazing. The more we travel, the well knitted we become. And those experiences never leave me, never ever. I can't just wait to go back and explore more of it.
Mm. Yes, so it's beautifully written. So along with Amor's spiritual journey, he's actually going on a physical journey to all these places. And we sense that. I get the sense of that journey, both of it.
And so many people cannot even travel to those places. So it is when they're reading, a picture builds up in their minds. Like I still have the memory of it. So when I'm writing, I try to do justice with the writing so that anybody who has not seen the place should be able to imagine like, oh, wow, the food was like this or the place was like this. That's what I have tried to do here.
Yes, absolutely. I felt that your book is visual as well. It's
Visual,
very visual. And I would say I could almost taste the food which you described in there. You could. So it's beautifully done. I would strongly suggest all of you to even just read. There's a chapter on eating and what a sensual experience it is to eat with your hands. All of us we grew up in India eating with our hands, and now we are in the country, either Canada or United States, which is very different. You eat with a fork and knife. So it's hard to describe to somebody who has never eaten with their hands what a complete experience it is. So
and the purpose of it, why there's a lot of why behind our,
there's a why behind it. So
yes.
And Kamal, you explain it beautifully. You really explain that whole thing beautifully. So also within the book, each chapter ends with a beautiful poem. And those poems are delightful. They are a compilation by themselves in a book of poetry, I would say that. I would like to invite Kamal to read one of her poems, one of her favorite poems, either from the book or otherwise. We would love to hear from you, Kamal.
Okay. So for those who still have not seen the book, all the books, like throughout the book, we have a sketch like this, which is my own.
Yes, I was getting to that. Yep.
And there is a poem at the end of the chapter. So the poems connect to the chapter, all the feelings that have gone and in the chapter. So this is a poem that says, "The world I built with presence of my own living, my own words, my own thoughts, my own doings, is now old and rickety, needs minimalism, needs emptiness to become new and open to life, that I have not lived yet. So far, I was living in the same house I built years ago." It's a very simple expression of how we have lived our lives from conditioning. We learn something from our environment, how we live, and we continue to do that. So at times we need to, that's the world of our own experiences, our own doings from our environment, people we are with, some pressures of life, and so much in it. But there can be a time when we can start emptying that out, learning something new, building something that we are like old house. So to renovate it, we'll have to remove some old stuff and keep something that is treasurable, and then build a new house. A new house will come from new experiences, new people, and being ready for it. That I'm ready for my own renovation. So it is the self-renovation poem.
Self-renovation and open to things as well. That's what I felt. You open to new experiences. Don't think
only
that
when we are
know everything.
Well, then we will, if we have our garage is full, our storage is full, we won't have space for anything. We have to get that all out.
Yeah. So coming to the sketch which you just showed us, so which was very unique. So tell us about the sketches in your book. So each chapter has a little sketch.
Yes, I wanted some pictures to describe the gist of the chapter, or somewhere connect the chapters. And I was trying to get illustrators. So I work at the airport with Air Canada. So we have a lot of people who are from different walks of life who are with us. I often talk to people, okay, would you be able to draw this or paint this? And then I met some artists also, and prices were like really ridiculous. So each picture would cost me like so much. And I'm like, no, this is not working out. And whosoever I described the feeling, they could not get the right pictures for me. And then my husband said, try sketching. I'm like, no, I have picked up a pencil ever in my life. I was really, really bad at arts in my school time, and I would actually fail. And then my teacher would be like, who fails in drawing exam? And I was the only one who would fail in drawing exam. But my husband kept insisting that try. You have done so many things. Try this also. Just go on. And I started sketching, and then we got the perfect feelings. So I suddenly became like a sketch artist, a learner still, but I think I emptied some part of me, and then the sketches came in. I got a little hand over these, and then we filled in with our own sketches.
Yeah, there you go. New experiences. You're ready for all challenges, everything that life gives to you.
Whatever came, yes.
It's very, very simple sketches, and they just fit perfectly. They really fit perfectly. Yeah. Now, another idea which I really like about in your book was a very different definition of a soulmate. Very different from the one which we have grown up or we have learned. So that was a unique idea. Now, did you create that? Did you find it in some philosophy somewhere? So where did that come from?
That is my understanding of life. As I told you, I have met many people. Like I'm sure everybody has met like a good number of people. But being a teacher, I had more exposure to souls, and just now that those students who are like now they are married, they have children, everything in the world has grown. I have traveled to so many people, I've connected to so many people. I have seen that in the journey, as I say, life is a caravan. It says in the first poem, and there we are all in a caravan. People keep adding in our lives and keep going out of our lives. Not everybody stays, but the impact stays forever. Even if it is a small impact of that person or their influence on our lives, or it can be a major one. Now, when we talk about soulmates, we only think, most of the time we think about, okay, it's a man and a woman relationship that comes in. But there are so many people who come and they change the course of our lives. It can be anybody. It can be a very dear friend who just you connect with, everything is good, and then suddenly something changes and that person goes away. And we're like, oh, we were such good friends. And, everything, the relationship broke and then something happened. It has happened with me too, with best of the friends. And then sometimes circumstances change and you're not able to connect to those people. But those people, they come in our lives they have some kind of role playing like we have on them too. So they come, they carve our path, they show us what to do, how to, whatever changes needed in us or any kind of self evolution we need, or some kind of guidance we need, they come, they do it for us, and then when their role is over, they go. So we can have many soulmates. Soulmates is not only a man and a woman relationship. It can be anybody. It can be your pet. It can be anything that you own. If I have a table, I can be a soul. This table can be my soulmate. It has helped me to create my book. It has helped me to create my thoughts. So any living, non-living thing can be my soulmate or anybody's soulmate. Their purpose is very different to propel.
Beautiful thought. Beautiful thought to give respect to every person you meet, everything you connect with, anything that has your connection. That is truly a beautiful thought. I have so many questions. I can keep going on and on, but I will let the readers discover it for themselves rather than giving out the plot, because if I go a little further. So if no one has any questions, does anyone have any questions for us, for Kamal? Or we could.
Papa wanted to say something.
Yes.
I think I'm running out of battery. I think she's logged out.
Okay.
She wanted to tell you about like how to different languages, how to do. She had some regional market for books in different languages. There is a market.
Wow.
Yes,
That's beautiful.
Wanted to say that, but she just messaged me that her battery's running out. She's gone out.
Oh.
But anyway, I'll convey that to.
Convey that. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Harveen, do you want to ask something? Harveen teaches English at in Loyola. She's
Oh,
literature.
Wow.
Harveen, can we see you?
Hi, Kamal. I don't know how to get back to that screen to put on my video, but I did want to ask you, you spoke or have spoken many times about your experience as a teacher.
Yes.
And are you currently teaching as well, or did you step out of academia?
I'm not. When I moved to Canada, life suddenly like changed completely. So I taught high school when I was in India, and that was my richest experience of life till date. The
Yeah.
love that I got, the connection that I still have with children is so deep. I don't even have words to express. I think that really, really enriched me and kept my like inner child alive. But when I came to Canada, I did go in for college teaching, but then I went in for starting a course here. But
Uh-huh.
everything was too long, and then once you
Yeah.
land here, I think sustainability is the first thing you want to do. So I actually
Yeah.
changed many professions here when I came in. So I went
I
into a
see.
new learning mode completely,
Ah,
but not
and
teaching.
I wonder if you would pick that up again, even as just a, a substitute teacher or whatever, because I think the students would really benefit from hearing the stories that you tell and you bring to Canada actually as well,
Oh,
and
thank
and
you.
and hearing their experiences. I teach at the college level, and it is just delightful. I mean, the youngsters, even though of course they're older, I think, than your students have been.
Yes.
But it's what gets me up in the morning, keeps me going, and gives us
Mm.
hope for the future, actually. The world is kind of a grim place right now.
Yes,
So,
Harveen, it is quite interesting you're saying this. I was telling Anjum, talking to Anjum yesterday about writers in residence. So I'm applying to libraries and
okay.
universities if I
Uh-huh.
can get somewhere, so I can get back to that connection with students. So let's see
Yeah.
what works out in 2021, where life takes me. So we'll go with it. I'm definitely looking forward to meeting some young lives and talking to them. The storytelling part which you're saying is when I was
Mhm.
teaching grade 11 and 12,
Mhm.
before even teaching the chapter in the classroom, to
Mhm.
tell them a story about
Mhm.
the chapter, and they would listen with a pin drop silence in the classroom, and when they
Mhm.
opened the book, the chapter,
Yeah.
they knew everything what was being said in the chapter. So that storytelling, yes, really is a part of me, and I would love to go back to it and do that. Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's
Harveen is
wonderful.
also a scenarian, Kamal.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
yes.
Post on
The,
the old Narayan group.
Yeah.
the oldest person in the room now, wherever I go.
No.
Like,
But the most immature emotionally, Anjum will tell you, so that's
There
okay.
you go. There you go. And that's what's the whole
All
philosophy
creative
about.
people
It's the
are
miracle.
ageless.
That's
um,
you've maintained your innocence, and you're full of joy of life.
when I was writing children's stories at my
Mhm.
workplace, I call the child character Zuzu. So I
Uh,
will often talk to my colleagues about like what is happening in Zuzu's life now. And then every now and then, if there was a problem and somebody was serious and they would like shout or get upset, others would tell them, "Have you lost your Zuzu?" So
yeah.
we have our
Yeah.
Zuzu alive.
That's
We are
delightful.
even going.
Yeah, such a wonderful session, and really thanks for uh, having us join you here, and to Anjum who put all of this
But
together. It's
all of
been
us.
Yes, thanks a lot for coming in.
yeah, not at all. Yeah, hope you'll
Yeah, no,
join
thank you. That was absolutely.
us in some of our OSNA events as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Sure. Like, yes. It's just sometimes the timing is because I try to. This is we have as Shireen, you have mentioned, and you have mentioned too, like that there are people that who are going through depression these days. A lot of people are are going through that. So if we get to know about somebody, we try to call that person, even if we don't know. We just try to kind of create a connection, which kind of seems as if we've known them forever, and then try to get that person out of all our silly actions and things and whatever we can do to create that. So sometimes I'm busy with that and I miss out on the sessions, but I try to follow them later whenever I can, to catch up with everything. So yes, those are very beautiful sessions that Osna is having, and I would love to be more into that as well as time permits. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
So let's just conclude this lovely morning. And I'm surprised to, as you mentioned, Kamal, this time I've suddenly met 2 new friends. Who would have thought during lockdown I would meet such wonderful, interesting people. And thank you for sharing your book with us. I hope everybody does read. It's a very light read and enjoyable as well. And okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
Thank you, Anjum.
Shireen.
And
Thank you,
Raghu.
Anjum.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Shireen, has anyone told you that your sister sounds just like you?
Yes. How do
She
you know who
copies
you're
you,
talking
right?
to,
Yeah.
Garveen?
Yes.
Yes, we do. We do sound very alike, very alike.
She sounds like you, actually. So she copies all the stuff you do, right?
Ah, that's a good way to look at it.
The
That's a very
annoying
good way to
younger
look at it.
sister. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whose friend are you, Parveen?
Only my dad can make out who's who.
Yeah.
Only
I
dad
have
can
one of
make
those
out.
older sisters too, that I try to copy, but don't get too close. Yeah. Delightful. Well, I hope you will come visit Chicago someday too.
Absolutely. We will do
Yeah.
that. Yeah, we
Would
will
would
definitely
love.
do that. Both Anjum and I will come. I hope the
Yes.
invitation was to me too.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you,
Lovely,
Anjum, for
lovely
putting it all
session.
together.
Yeah. Thank
Thank
you,
you everyone
Anjum.
for coming. Thank you so much, Parveen. Thank you, Kamal.
Thank you. Thank you.
And the book is available. I wanted to mention the book is available on Amazon, and I have it on Kindle, which is really simple to download, and you get it instantly. Like these days, you don't want to wait for stuff. So on Kindle, it comes instantly, or you could get a copy, like an actual physical copy, like Anjum has.
Yes.
But
And Chapters also has it. Chapters Indigo. They also.
okay. Chapters. Okay. Yeah.
That's in Canada, yeah.
Canada. Yeah. I know Chapters.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.